Last time, we fished the last skin out of my original 45 or so. But if you've been watching the other parts, you'll know that I skipped a few of the most unique ones to save them for a later video. Well, that video is finally here. So the first of these 4 most unique skins is the remake of the skin for Case and Point Error Code. Now, if you take a look at that skin, you'll probably think, oh wow, that looks really complicated. But the thing is, it actually isn't that bad. Like, it looks hard, but basically all you do is you break it up into 2 parts. So, like, the first part is just doing the guy in the suit, and then the second part is actually adding the effect. Like, sort of 3D, anaglyph, kind of glitch effect. Not sure how to describe it, but you know what effect I'm talking about when I move on to actually doing that effect. But as for, just the main part of the skin without the effect, it went by pretty smoothly. There was one particular part of the skin, though, that held me back quite a bit, and that was just between the shoes and the pants, and trying to make sure that that didn't blend together. It was a little bit of a challenge. I think I did alright, but I don't think I entirely avoided the blending there. And then the same thing kind of happens to a lesser extent with the back of the jacket and the pants. There's sort of a blending effect going on there as well, but I don't think it's really that pronounced. I kind of figure things out, and then I'm able to move on to the parts that were very simple, or not necessarily simple, but they're like, the usual kind of deal that I do every single time. So, doing the sleeves, that was the same kind of deal as normal. Shirt and tie was not really a problem. Doing the actual, skin part of skin, as in, the hands and the face, that was fine too. And then doing the hair, again, was also pretty much fine. The front hair, that's the part that always slows me down a little bit, but in this case, it was Case and Point. In this case, it didn't slow me down much, because I basically just shaded it vertically as I normally did, but did the highlights slightly different, because it didn't have that central pixel that I normally put the brightest highlight on. So there you have me shading the hair on the front. That was fine. And then I just take a look at the skin from several different angles just to make sure everything looks right and I didn't miss anything. And then I move on to actually adding the glitch effect, and as you can see, it's really simple. Literally all it involves is adding some red and cyan onto it, but using the opacity feature in the Planet Minecraft editor. So, that's one thing that Planet Minecraft editor definitely has over the Skindex editor if you want to do stuff like this. I mean, the Skindex editor is fine if you're really good with, hex values, but, I prefer to use HSV, so the Planet Minecraft editor very much comes in clutch there. And that's basically the skin done. Just finishing up the final little glitch effects, then adding it to the outer layer. And then I do a slight experiment with the eyes, but I decided it looks slightly off, so I undo that. And then I pretty much just add last final details, and there we go. Next up, we have a skin that is in pretty much the complete opposite style to the last one. The original skin was an entry for the 7Seas player skin contest on Planet Minecraft. And the thing about that event was not only were you required to make a skin that fit the theme, but you were also not required, but you were encouraged to come up with some sort of backstory to the whole skin. Just kind of get really creative with the whole theme. So being a little bit of a world builder on the inside, I took the opportunity to essentially, I'm not even sure to this day if I actually considered them like human or not, but like I invented this like hominid species or race. Again, I'm not sure if they're human or not, but they're based on humans that would live both above and below the surface of the water off the coasts of Portugal and Morocco in the subtropical North Atlantic. And they'd like make use of the sea plant life there, and they'd also take great advantage of the upwelling, which, if you know anything about like oceanography or even climates, you'll know that like upwelling occurs when the wind blows parallel to the shore in a particular direction, and then that causes the surface water to move away from the coast, and then the water from the bottom goes up to the surface, and that water is cold, but it's also like super rich in nutrients, so that causes like blooms in plant life and like phytoplankton. I hope that didn't sound too boring, but like that was basically one of the things I use like defining them, is that was basically the equivalent to like a monsoon, where it'd be like critical to their food supply, so they'd be reliant on the upwelling, for like seaweed and the like to grow. But I made up some other interesting concepts from this, like I invented this sort of sea wood, I guess, well, I didn't invent it, but I came up with this idea that they invented. And it was all just really a bit of fun, but I think I made some pretty fun skins for it as well. Yes, I did say skins there. There were two. This was the one that I actually entered into the contest, but I also made one in a slightly different style, a slightly more modern looking outfit, also slightly Mediterranean inspired, and I move on to that in just a moment. So here's the first skin finished. So now the casual variant of the previous skin is coming up next. I didn't really have any particular reason for making this skin in the first place. It was just something I decided to do just to have a bit of fun and play around with the whole like theme and world that I'd created. So I decided to like make a variant of my entry for the contest in a more casual beach outfit. So you see me doing there, getting rid of the vest and replacing it with like a white button up with short sleeves, which is quite a popular Mediterranean style. And there weren't really any details here that held me back at all. I didn't have to do the hair, for example, because that was already done for me. So just do a few small details here around the waist and at the collar, and all of that was really simple. It was patterns that I was already very used to, and that's pretty much it for both of the Maranfibian skins, and we move on to something very different next. Now for the last skin of the video, we once again move to a completely different style to the last skin, and this skin is the remake of the skin for Tokyo Machine Turbo. Now Tokyo Machine is an artist that I've gone on about in the past. He's relatively new. He only came onto the label around 2016, which now that I think about it means he's not actually that new. But the point is he wasn't around in like the early or even really mid 2010s. But the thing about him is like he's really popular, but I never really cared that much about his discography. Like I did like Bubbles, I do like Fight, Spooky is pretty good, Rocket is very good as well. But a lot of the stuff just kind of passes by me and I don't really pay much attention to it. I don't know, I guess maybe I'm a little biased towards the older artists, you know, like if AU5 has a new song, I'm going to click on that right away. But Tokyo Machine, not so much. Still, he does have some interesting effects. His sound is basically like a very... How would I... There's not really an easy way to describe it. It's kind of like video game inspired. I kind of went on about that before. It's like Nitrofun, but like less chiptune-y. Or is it still chiptune? You could argue it's chiptune, but it's like more modern sounding, while Nitrofun often goes like full in on the whole 8-bit stuff. Then again, Tokyo Machine himself does have some 8-bit sounds in his songs, so yeah, scratch what I said there. You know, sometimes it could be hard to describe certain things, but as for Tokyo Machine, like a lot of his early stuff in particular just sounds very similar. Like Party, OK, and Pixel are all very similar sounding. Now, again, you're probably going to hear that and you're like, oh yeah, but sure, like early Project 46 was all basically the same song, or like mid-2010s Hellberg, like 2015 type Hellberg, that is all very similar. And yeah, I guess you're right there. But, I don't really know, like, Tokyo Machine, his earlier stuff is even all in the same key. It's all in G minor. Now, Turbo is not from that era. Turbo is much newer. I think it's from, like, 2019 or 2020. I can't remember when exactly. But, yeah. It has an interesting cover art, which has, like, you know, all the usual characters that features on all of his cover art. But then this one has this thing across all the faces that I don't even know what to call it. Like, is it goggles? Is it a mask? Visor? I don't really know how to describe it. A screen of some kind? Yeah, you can really come up with your own word for that. I don't really have one. The skin though was quick enough to remake. Like, it wasn't super quick, but it wasn't super long either. Just finished the strings there on the hoodie, and there we go. Alright, it's that time of the video again. Let's look at the old and new versions of each skin side by side one last time. So, we're finally finished remaking the oldest skins. If you're interested in seeing what I do next, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to enable notifications. And as always, if you like this video, then please click the like button below the video as well. Thanks for watching, and have a good night or day.